Hello everyone, welcome back. Today I want to have a discussion about who rules the world and why I believe the last 8 episodes completely ruined this drama. So let's get into it. So the reason why I did not like the last arc of this drama is that the way I understood the male lead to be, it felt impossible. It felt unimaginable that he would give up the throne for his bride and his lover, because he spends the whole show trying to be emperor. And while I understand that love conquers all, for his character it feels particularly odd that right at the final moment he decides that he's going to be completely romantically aligned and essentially give up being emperor. At least how I personally interpreted and understood the character. Aside from that, the female lead getting injured by somebody that she grows up with that treats her a little oddly, but it at least is like this sisterly bond, who ends up stabbing her just to what feels like to basically move on the plot, just felt unnecessary and almost rude. And I say it's rude because it feels like it's betraying the relationship those characters had. As odd as it is, it's like any ordinary sisterly relationship. Somebody that you grew up with then turns around and is like, oh, you're the reason that her parent, right, died, decides to stab you. Instead of having a nice, necessary conversation, you automatically resort to violence. You think if you grew up with me, you treat me a little bit differently. That particular scene, kick-started my dislike for the last arc of this drama, because it was perfectly fine until everything completely unravels. Third of all, the female lead's brother dying and that kicking off a whole other thing too. It was just, they were throwing what felt like plot devices at us to basically make the ending where the male lead is all sacrificial for her, right, instead of for the throne. I would have preferred him to just stick with his character. Also, I also say this because what I'm also saying is the danger they put the female lead in was not necessary. Had that not happened, maybe the male lead would be able to stick to his character. And while I understand it, most of the show was like that, from what I know, from rumors, from melons online, that Yang Yang, he wanted his character to have a very major role in the show, and it's that's fine. Let's keep him wanting to be emperor as the central point of the plot, and then we can keep it moving. That's what, if anything, that's what frustrated me the most, and how every other action item was basically a plot device for him to go, I don't want to be emperor no more, I don't really care about it anymore, I only care about my lover. But it's because my lover's in danger, right? If she wasn't throwing fireballs consistently, he wouldn't think about doing that. And I'm saying that the reason why things happen as they do is because they use the dangers that the female lead encounters as a plot device. Because yes, you're good at martial arts, but the dangers you're facing are life-threatening and ultimately you could die. But they don't put him in the same danger for a purpose, for a reason. Swap it around. Have the female lead have to save the male lead from these situations, and he still ends up as emperor. Even if they wanted it to be a super chaotic last arc, have the male lead go through all the troubles and the struggles, okay? And then you can still have an ending where the characters get to stay true to who they are. Because ultimately, understandably, the female lead did not want to be with him if he was going to be emperor. That's also part of this. I acknowledge that. But I feel if, let's say, they wanted to do it where she saved him in that last 8 episodes, maybe she could change her mind, considering the fact that she just travels the entire world anyway and just wants to be in peace and stuff like that. Maybe if they I don't know, put her into a stage of situations where she had to save the male lead, maybe she changed her mind. You could argue, hey, didn't you just say that you thought that the characters, were acting out of place? Wouldn't that be out of place? If you give me valid enough scenarios where this character decides to change her mind practically last minute within the last 8 episodes, I will accept it rather than them changing the male lead character. And that is not coming from any internalized misogyny whatsoever. I literally just feel most of the show, he is the central character anyway. So for him to do that dynamic shift at the end and use her as a plot device feels unfair to her character. I'd rather them centralize her character in those last 8 episodes and you use her as like a way of maybe awakening to maybe a different life than she had imagined. That's just my opinion. Let me, honestly, if you want to argue with me in the comments, I don't even mind. You say your thoughts, please, because I might have, this might be a unique way of looking at who rules the world, but that's just my opinion. Anyway, thanks so much for listening to this video. If you liked it, hit the like button. If you want to subscribe, that would be really cool too. Thanks so much for listening. Bye.